This time, I've come to Universal City Station on the Yumesaki line. As you all know, it's the closest station to Universal Studios Japan, the biggest theme park in Western Japan. Even though it's a weekday, there are a lot of people here. Of course, that's not what I'm going to talk about on this channel. Most of the people using this station are either going to Universal Studios or Universal CityWalk. I think most people don't even know about it because they go straight to the adjacent shopping facilities, but a lot of people actually live here. There's also a huge apartment complex here. In this video, instead of focusing on the usual spots, I'll be highlighting and introducing the apartment area. Universal City. The station is located here in the area called the seaside island of Osaka City. Next to Universal City Station is the last stop, Shima Station. The employee gate is near Shima Station, so everyone gets off at Shima Station. This area is also an industrial zone, and the park was opened on the site of a former factory. Now, let's start by walking around the area near the station. When you exit the ticket gate at Universal City Station and turn left, you'll immediately see Universal CityWalk. You'll come across a commercial facility. The park opened on March 31, 2001, but Universal CityWalk opened a week earlier, on March 22. I wonder if they timed it to coincide with the pre-opening events. As you can tell from the exterior, this is a commercial facility completely aimed at people who have come here. The park features merchandise shops and numerous restaurants to enjoy on your way in and out. By the way, I always go first. I stand in front of it and get myself motivated before going in. On the way back, I eat at one of the restaurants before heading home. There are about 60 stores in total, and more than half of them, 37, are restaurants. Even so, at night, the place gets crowded with many people heading home and long wait times occur. So, it's better to decide which restaurant you want to go to in advance and make a reservation online if possible. The left side now has buildings with hotels and restaurants on the lower floors, but for a long time it was just an empty lot. Originally, there were plans to build a live music hall there, but since the main live hall project fell through, it remained an empty lot for a long time. In 2015, the empty lot was finally filled and remains so today. As I mentioned it, something well known came into view. It's the top theme park in Western Japan. Instead of asking why did I travel this far, I have an odd sensation, as if I'm not merely here to view an apartment. There was a time when visitor numbers were low, but now you can immerse yourself in the world of movies. They made a major shift from their original concept and managed to recover. There are mixed opinions about this, but since visitor numbers are increasing, it's a big success. Before the park opened, there was a station called Shima Station around the San Francisco area. It's already been closed down, but it used to be the area where Backdraft was located. The park's opening led to the relocation of the tracks and the station. Commercial facility, sorry, I ended up talking a lot about Universal CityWalk from an otaku's perspective. Let's return to Universal City, in front of the station ticket gates. The station? Actually, it was originally planned to open underground, but due to construction costs, it ended up being above ground. Still, to be considerate, they put a roof over it so you can't see the trains. I left the ticket gate earlier and went left, but this time I'll go right. Then, there are a group of hotels for tourists. It's quite an impressive sight. It feels like being abroad with large, luxurious hotels. The station area makes it very lively. It's become a tourist spot. I can't believe there are so many apartment buildings in a place like this. There are a lot of hotels, but if you turn left down the street, you'll find the apartments. Let's walk over there. On the right side is Mikawaguchi Station for freight. At the seaside location, goods from Kansai Chemical Products Transport, a freight company, were processed. Primarily used as industrial raw materials known for scientific properties and qualities. There are tanks for the products leading to the corner. The situation seems to be ongoing. An apartment building is now visible on the left. There really is an apartment district right nearby. For walking enthusiasts, it's an ideal spot, just a 5-minute stroll away. This is an apartment building called Luna Tower Hollywood Place. The name is clearly meant to sound like a typical apartment complex, and I like how straightforward it is. The concrete-like design is also nice. It was built in 2008 and has a rooftop garden. The shared facilities are impressive, with features like a guest room, theater room, and relaxation room. King Mansion is in the back, overlooking Osaka Bay. Unfortunately, large-scale renovation work is being carried out. Due to this, the mansion's exterior is not fully visible, but it also has a slightly retro feel. The Munatawa Hollywood Place was built a year later in 2009. This mansion also has plenty of shared facilities. Beyond the freight railway tracks is the sea. Both of these mansions face the sea, so you can look out at the ocean from the balcony. You can also enjoy views of the high-rise buildings in Bentencho. Some people might think, what's the point of looking at Osaka's dirty sea? For someone with poor eyesight like me, the sea's uniform appearance from afar is quite appealing. In the distance are islands and a southern park. There's nobody around though. Well, it's around 2 p.m. on a weekday, so maybe it gets crowded with lots of kids in the evenings or on holidays. Well, it's a spacious park, so I think it's nice. On the left are apartment buildings, and across the street on the right are factories. Compared to the last century, the number of factories on the island has decreased, but many still coexist with the apartments. There's an entrance to a forest-like area. Let's explore it. This is actually green space belonging to the apartment complex. It's characterized by having a lot of greenery and a design that emphasizes nature. This apartment complex is developed by Osaka-based real estate developer River Sangyo. Their main apartment brand is the River Garden series. In this apartment area, there are several buildings developed by River Sangyo, and together they are called River Garden City. There are 5 types of apartment buildings here. I'm walking right now. The path is a promenade called Alice's Forest Path, about 370 meters long. They say that the industry was created with Alice in Wonderland as its motif. Alice, as in Disney. That's what it is though. It's nearby here though. It's full of nature, and there was even a pond. With 1,222 storage units, it's a massive apartment complex, which allows for the construction of walkways like this. At first glance, you might think that building walkways like this would make the repair and management fees expensive, but surprisingly, they weren't that high. However, while walking, there were a lot of bugs. As I walked, small insects were flying along the path and kept hitting me. It's really amazing to have a place like this built within the grounds of an apartment complex, but maybe you can't fight aging. There are places that have ended up like this. Entry was also partially restricted or completely prohibited in some places, because they've gone overboard in creating a certain atmosphere. If it gets damaged once, I think it would be really hard to restore. By the way, the price of apartments around here is about 35 million yen for around 80 square meters. The average price in Osaka City is about 70 million yen, so it's incredibly cheap. One reason is that the selling prices of apartments are going up around here. The prices of apartments in this area haven't changed much from when they were first built and sold. There are a lot of bubble-era properties left. Places like Nanko and Osaka Port, which is famous for the kaiyukan, are the same, but the west side of Osaka is generally cheaper. It doesn't take that long to get to the city center, so personally I recommend living near the sea. If it were up to me, I'd want to live in either Luna Tower or King Mansion by the sea. There are various ways to get to the apartment besides exiting the ticket gate to the right and turning left as previously mentioned. Among those, I'll try the most interesting way to get there. Actually, there's a passageway in this Universal CityWalk that leads to the apartment area, and you can reach the River Garden series of apartments. Ahead, a small shopping facility called River Mall appeared. It's not very well known, but there are actually 2 shopping facilities in this area, Universal CityWalk and River Mall. It's a small shopping facility mainly targeting apartment residents, but it's become quite something. The tenants are just a daycare center and a candy store. The supermarket closed down in 2023 and after that the candy store moved in. Originally, the sign looked like this, but after a series of store closures, it's changed to a simpler design. I've only visited the third floor clinics, but there are more on other floors. Even the residents of the apartment building don't really come around. It seems like it's turned into a commercial facility, so I also stopped by the snack department store while I was there. It was full of inbound tourists. There were also people who came here. Besides Universal CityWalk, there are other commercial facilities. Most people probably don't know it exists, and it's in a hard-to-notice location. I wonder if something could have been done about that. I feel like if there were a more obvious entrance, the number of visitors would increase right away. By the way, from here you can see Universal CityWalk and the hotel from the back side. The inside looks surprisingly fake, so it's worth checking out. This is an aerial photo from 1992 showing the apartment building. The area was originally a place where factories and railroad tracks were built. That place was also a factory. It was completely different from how it is now. After successfully attracting the company, the railroad tracks were moved, leaving a vacant lot. And then, around 2006, apartment complexes started to be built, and that's how the area developed. This is just speculation, but I think the development of the apartment complexes was probably not what the Osaka city government had intended. The park's opening was a major project, requiring the relocation of the station and railway tracks. I believe they never planned from the start to purposely construct apartment buildings that would spoil the theme park's ambiance. Despite efforts to attract commercial facilities and hotels, the Heisei-era recession made it challenging. They couldn't agree on how to use the land, leading to the current situation. That's my perspective, at least. Now, there are no vacant lots, but until around 2010, there were scattered vacant lots in the area, and the momentum had slowed down. It seems that even Universal CityWalk had a noticeable number of vacant tenants. Because of that, I can understand the theory that the formation of the town and the construction of condominiums were not entirely intentional. Currently, there are no supermarkets in this town. I mentioned that the supermarket in River Mall has closed, but including others, there are no supermarkets at all. The closest one is Lamu Konohana store, but even then, it takes more than 10 minutes per car. It's really tough. Lamu Konohana store. The nearest station is Nishikujo station, which is 2 stops away, but from there, you still have to walk more than 10 minutes. It's not realistic to go shopping by train, so I live here. In other words, you should probably consider having a car. The elementary school is also a 19-minute walk away. The junior high school is about a 30-minute walk away, which is pretty far. Technically, the neighboring Ashikawaguchi station is the closest to both the elementary and junior high schools, but even if you get off at Ashikawaguchi station, you still have to walk, and it's not really far enough to take the train. Basically, all the apartments are far from family-oriented supermarkets and schools, so I would avoid buying this apartment. I feel like that's the biggest reason. By the way, I bought a house about a year ago, and I actually considered living in this town. In the end, I didn't choose it, but it was definitely an option. That's what I think. As a result, there are many stores besides supermarkets. There are convenience stores, drugstores, and cafes, and there are also restaurants. Even though I'm married, I can hang out at Universal CityWalk. For someone like me who doesn't go out much, it's like a paradise. Like I said earlier, since the apartment is for families, I don't think you can eat out at restaurants every day, and if your family doesn't have a car, it's pretty tough. I think it would be inconvenient. Being close by is both an advantage and a disadvantage. Except for late at night, there are a lot of people around, so some people might find it noisy. You can get from Universal City Station to Osaka Station in just under 15 minutes without having to transfer. During both morning and evening commutes, you'll travel opposite the park visitors, so trains likely won't be crowded. The main advantage of living in this apartment area is probably this, above all else. You can live close to the center of Osaka City at a low cost, and being able to live so close to A will make people who like it really happy. The surrounding area has a nice foreign-like atmosphere. If you can compromise on the fact that the supermarket and school are far away, it's perfect. Honestly, it's convenient, but I wouldn't say it's easy to live here. It deeply resonates with certain people, myself included. Home is where you make it. Consider it. It's a good place. That's all for now. See you in the next video.